where news comes first. WECT News begins now with breaking news.
Something is missing from the view of downtown Wilmington, and that's soon going to be a permanent view. The space where the Coast Guard cutter Diligence normally docks is empty and will be vacant for good before the end of next year, because the Diligence is leaving Wilmington after 30 years, moving to a city in Florida. The official decision to move the Diligence happened less than 2 weeks ago now, January 11th, but the public announcement came today.
Wilmington Mayor Bill Saffo says he was blindsided by the move. This is video of the ship coming back into port last month. Now, I talked with Mayor Saffo just about an hour ago about the decision. He says we'll still be a Coast Guard city even with the Diligence gone.
I found out about it as I was coming back from a meeting in Bergholt today that Diligence had made the decision to move to Pensacola, Florida. I was not aware that that decision had been made until I heard it today, and it's unfortunate. Of course, it's a sad day for our community because the Coast Guard has been here for a long, long time, but we're still going to have a significant Coast Guard presence here with the Vector that moved here from Elizabeth City many years ago, about 75 personnel that will still be here, and we're still going to be called a Coast Guard city.
WECT's Emily Featherston has been following this breaking news all afternoon.
She's live now along the riverfront downtown. Emily, you've talked to a lot of people in town today. How are they reacting to the decision?
Well, a good example are the folks right here on Water Street, those businesses that are right across from the Diligence. They say they're sad to see it go. They see it every day right outside their front door, so they're going to miss having those crew members. The Diligence has a 78-member crew, and they're not here right now. They're out on mission, and that's really the view that people are going to get used to after a while. I am here with Wilmington City Council member Charlie Rivenbark. Now, you said that you understand why the Coast Guard is doing this. They're doing it because they're moving to larger ship sizes. They have some homeland security concerns. But what are your thoughts now that after so long that we'll be losing the Diligence?
Well, it's just one of those things, I guess, like me, everybody just figures they'll always be here. And things change, and they're doing this to benefit the Coast Guard. And I certainly understand it. Do I like it? No, I wish they could be here forever. But we'll always be a Coast Guard town. We'll have the Oak Island presence, the Wrightsville Beach presence of the Coast Guard. So it's not the end, but this sure will look different down here without the Diligence or any Coast Guard cutter on the dock, because they've been here for a long time. The old revenue cutters before them, and then the Coast Guard cutters. So it's going to be a change. But I assure you, the city will, if we're able to, we'll take this space right here, and we'll blend it in with our Riverwalk and our riverfront park, and it'll be very, very nice.
When we spoke with Mayor Saffo earlier, he said that the city has been aware that this was a possibility for the last couple of years, and now part of this change will be the Coast Guard's going to work to try and bring this area back into a more usable state. Why do you think it's important to extend the riverfront park down this way? What do you think that'll mean for the downtown area here?
Well, probably one of the #1 attractions when people come from out of town or people just come downtown that already live here, our Riverwalk is foremost among all of the attractions. And this has not been a snaggletooth in it, but we had problems with the bulkheading underneath, and our Congressman David Rouser was able to secure the funding from the Coast Guard to do that, and that's going to happen whether the Diligence is here or not. So it'll just be a continuation of what we got on the north and south end of the Riverwalk. I think it's going to be a wonderful day for the citizens.
Now, I'm told that work should start sometime next month. Like we said, the Diligence isn't leaving right away. Once they come back from their current mission, they will be here until next year. The Coast Guard spokesperson told me that it'll probably be the summer of 2020 when they make that transition. Now, Mr. Rivenbark here and Mayor Saffo weren't the only people that we talked to today. John, I believe that you talked with Congressman David Rouser. What did he have to say?
Well, when I asked him how long he had known about the possibility, he told me, he said, he's known the possibility the Diligence could leave for quite some time, but he learned of it being a done deal just last week. He also told me when he first learned about the chance the cutter could leave, he asked the Coast Guard about getting a new cutter here in town.
I knew it was a possibility because I had been informed that they were going to move the Diligence. They were going to decommission it. And at the time, I did not know that Any new cutter was going to be 360 feet long and far too big to be ported there at the city of Wilmington.
The congressman said when he learned that was not a possibility, he asked the Coast Guard to rebuild the bulkhead along the river. He got that $6.7 million needed for the project. And as far as his knowledge, the Coast Guard is in the process of bidding out that work for that project to begin. Now, over the years, Fran, you know, we've seen several heartwarming reunions when the Diligence crew comes back and their families go right to that spot along the riverfront to greet them. And the reunions continued as the Diligence came back home for the first time since Hurricane Florence. The ship returned near the end of last October after its planned 60-day mission. Even though the crew wasn't in Wilmington during Hurricane Florence, they still helped with relief. They delivered supplies to Ballhead Island and other areas that were hard hit after the storm. The Diligence also helped with recovery in the Florida Panhandle after Hurricane Michael. The Diligence crew doesn't just help with hurricane recovery and rescue operations, though. They also stop drugs from coming into the United States. In February of 2017, the crew seized nearly 2,500 kilograms of cocaine in the eastern Pacific Ocean. It came from 3 ships believed to be on their way from Colombia to the U.S. and was worth more than $60 million. The crew also detained 25 people after the bust. About 1 year later, the Diligence crew was part of a $190 million cocaine seizure. 5 cutters were involved in the operation off the coast of Mexico, Central and South America. You would have already known about this breaking news hours ago if you had the WECT News app. We were the first to break the news this morning, shortly after 11 o'clock. Head to wect.com/anywhere for information on how to download this app and how you can sign up for breaking news alerts like this one. Continuing our coverage on the other top story tonight, the man at the center of a video that has been seen thousands of times on social media, he's now filing suit against 8 law enforcement officers. The video from in November shows officers and deputies trying to restrain Hiram Farmer. Farmer's mother had taken involuntary commitment papers out on her son. Police say when the 35-year-old started assaulting the officers, one of them used a taser. Farmer continued to resist arrest. He is still in jail tonight. WECT's Chelsea Donovan talked to Hiram Farmer. Chelsea, what did he have to say about this?
Well, John, Farmer states in that lawsuit that he was unnecessarily beaten by officers and claims officers and deputies cast a sadistic and malicious act upon him that violates his rights as a citizen. Today, he explained his side of the story from inside jail.
35-year-old Hiram Farmer is no stranger to law enforcement. He's been arrested 40 times in the last 18 years.
I just came home from prison. Jail. Been home 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Then on November 14th, Farmer found himself surrounded by police after he says he was leaving a mini-mart.
I seen 2 officers walking towards me with my mom. And after that, they asked me, Farmer, can I talk to you real quick? I got some commitment papers I'm trying to get you to sign.
Farmer says his mother was trying to have him involuntarily committed. Police say Farmer resisted arrest.
So he grabbed my arm, twisted, twist my hand up, had me out there screaming because my arm already was messed up in a car accident.
Farmer says in a lawsuit he filed January the 22nd that a taser was used on him. He became defenseless with only one working arm, his breathing supply cut off, and that he was kicked and stomped on. In the video, you can see a deputy punching Farmer in the face. Farmer filed the suit because he believes he was unfairly treated and excessive force was used.
They really actually try to hurt me, bro, and I felt like, yo, you try to hurt me like that, I'm already hurt. And then you try to break me down, you feel me? 10, 20 police on me.
Farmer names 8 law enforcement from WPD and New Hanover County Sheriff's Office in his lawsuit and is seeking $1 million in damages.
Got bad, I can't even straighten my hand all the way out.
Farmer says he remains injured from the November incident.
All right, so after his involuntary commitment, Farmer was arrested on December 1st and faces several charges of assaulting law enforcement and resisting arrest. WPD's internal affairs team did review that video, but no officers were disciplined. As for the New Hanover County Sheriff's deputy, they say the officer acted within their excessive force policy by trying to subdue Farmer, who had reportedly bit him.
New documents are filed in court involving the dispute over who's sheriff in Columbus County.
We'll find out what those documents have to say.